Good morning, Eastern Oregon. Welcome to AM on EOAlive on this April the 20th. Can you believe it's I just, every time I look at the date, it's like, it just boggles my mind.
Yeah. Is it Friday yet?
No.
I wish.
You shaved today, so.
Which is rare for a Tuesday.
I mean, so it's got to mean, I don't know.
I usually only shave on Mondays and like Thursdays or Fridays.
Yeah, so you have to have a day of the week associated with that, don't you?
Yeah, that it just makes my schedule work better, easier.
That's right. It's supposed to
when I do shave, it's not like I have to shave a lot off of there.
That's true.
My mustache doesn't even connect right here, so
yeah, it's true.
And it doesn't grow up here at all. Just like
it's kind of patchy. You kind of got that thing,
barely grow a little scruff on my chin, so I look like I'm older than 15.
Yeah, well, and that's.
If I didn't have gray hair, people would probably think I was way younger than I am.
Okay, we'll go with that. I won't dispute it. We'll just.
I get like 29 on a regular basis. 30.
Do you?
My sister's gonna kill me for this, but she's 14 years younger than me. And one time actually 2 times. Let me rephrase that, Kelly. 2 times somebody asked if she was my older sister.
Oh, ouch.
And she doesn't even look old.
I know, but I'm sorry, you don't look young. I'm not.
Most people think I do look young. Maybe it's just you. Maybe you're just jealous, BC, because you're old.
Well, that totally is in the scope of what could be. I have no doubt about it, man.
Oh.
Hey, how's the diet going, man?
Going great. What is today? Today's day 20.
Okay.
Today's day 20. So we go tomorrow will be 3 weeks exactly. I go to the doctor on Wednesdays for weigh-ins. Like I told everybody last week, I was at 15 pounds down since I started the diet in 2 weeks. 8.5 pounds the first week, 6.5 the second week. I'm starting to see it physically on myself a little bit, like on the sides of my stomach, and just, it's going great. I haven't cheated. The food's good. There's definitely, you got to try out all the different foods to know what you like. And that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. So I love the horchata. The horchata is really good.
Good. And this is through Met Trim MD.
Yep.
Dr. Kopp, just down the street from us here, and be sure and check them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So, well, very cool. Well, hey, let's look at this day. It's kind of pretty out there.
Another one, man.
Yeah.
Another one. This weather.
It was like yesterday. It was that beautiful and warm. In fact, it's funny because I saw earlier where Buffalo Peaks was live, and a few minutes ago, and I'm thinking, like, is Dana at the golf course already? He hasn't popped on here yet, so maybe he's still doing his live thing. But
he might be there, or it could be Sean too. Sean is Dana's assistant, like his right hand man.
Yeah.
And so I think Dana gives the password to him too.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, here, let's check out the weather from Gabe.
Okay, so what do we got? We're going to get all the way up to 61. Notice how I always look for the high temperature first.
Do you? Yeah.
I don't care about all those low numbers.
I've noticed,
I care about is the high numbers. We're going to get into the low 30s tonight. A little bit of wind. Looks like a pretty nice day. Mostly sunny, up to 61. I can deal with. Ooh, tomorrow, Whoa, it's going to get all the way into 66 in the evening. So it's going to be hotter at 6 than it is at 3, which is not normal. Usually the hottest part of the day is 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Great evening to mow your lawn. Get out and enjoy the evening. Yeah, I can't. I've got something.
It'll be a great evening for me to pay the kids down the street to mow my yard. I have hay fever, man. I can't do it. I'll break out.
Yeah. Are you sniffling and stuff now?
Yeah, I'm already this nostril's plugged today. When I started taking my allergy medicine about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, I remember I said something to you. I was like, "Oh, it's starting that feeling, like start taking your allergy meds. The good thing about this valley, though, is there's less pollen in the air here, believe it or not, than there is on the west side of the state. So that's where I moved back from. The west side of the state is the grass seed capital of the world and one of the highest pollen counts in the whole world. So getting out of there was probably a help. My son just gets hammered every year from allergies.
Wow.
Yeah. You'd think they'd figure out a way to just like manipulate your, something inside of you to make it so allergies don't affect you, but they obviously haven't figured that out yet because millions and millions of dollars.
So what season is good? Cold, you hate, and bellyache. Yeah. Spring, you got allergies.
But I love spring. Spring's my favorite time of year. I'll deal with the allergies for nice weather and pretty flowers and all that stuff.
All right. Well, hey,
why would you even like winter? It covers up all the beautiful stuff that we have.
No, I know. The only people who really like winter are outdoor sports people.
Yeah, nobody likes scraping their car at 7 o'clock in the morning when it's 12 degrees outside.
Yeah, snowmobilers and skiers, and I mean they love that winter. So hey, if you're listening, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And also, we do have an app. It's very cool. You can get all of our content on the app, and it's available both on the Apple Store and on the Play Store.
I put the link up there for the Play Store, but I didn't put the link up for iTunes because I don't have it on my computer and it won't let me get to it. So you can just search EOAlive TV in iTunes and it'll be the first thing that pops up. Download it. It's free. It's free. You can set the notifications. If you don't want to get notified, you can go in there and set it, and then you don't get notified. If you want to get notified, you can get notified. It's up to you.
So Aaron says the weather kid. This is the weather kid's mom. The weather kid loves winter.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
And they got quite a bit of winter out there in Somerville this last.
My aunt and uncle are struggling with that right now. They're getting older. They don't like driving into town in the wintertime or getting their car out of their driveway for that matter. I mean,
well, hey,
weird. We've talked about that before too, BC, how much more snow they get, 8 miles away. It's
funny because we asked that here on the air, and Gabe did give me, I should share it sometime. I'll share it another time. Next time there's a big winter storm, he had an explanation for why it snows so much more out there.
There's the scientific explanation for it.
Well, I mean, he's a weather kid. It was his best guess, and I mean, that's kind of what weather is. Yeah. And so, no, it has.
Wait, so you're saying weather's a guessing game?
Yeah. Kind of like gambling, kind of like, calling sports. Yeah. Yeah. Though. Yep. It
might not be that bad to be a weatherman because nobody hates you for being wrong. They're always wrong. I mean, and people still love them.
Yeah, but they're not always wrong. That's not all.
No, okay. I meant like hypothetically.
No, I know that that's a very common perception. It's like, you're gonna call the weather. I mean. It is a little bit funny for me because, like, the national news. I mean, I know you don't watch national news, but when there's national news, they will. And there's a big storm in the east, particularly. And now they don't even say, what states. I mean, they show that on the map where the state is, but they'll say 51 million people will be affected by this winter storm, and it's like, why are you burning up time talking about national weather? I personally don't get it, but anyhow,
gotcha.
But they burn up a lot of their 22 minutes. That's how much news normally, and it might be less now.
That's better than, to me, that'd be better than talking about bad stuff.
Well, yeah, I think I watch national news and yell at the TV. It's the whole, it's like a fly to the fire, or what do they call it? A moth to a hot bulb. It's like, I hate it, but I want to see what it is. So
I watch YouTube. That's about it.
That's a whole nother moth to the fire.
Yeah. Hey, you can get a college degree on YouTube.
Can you?
I mean, I would
In what?
imagine. I learned how to fix my washing machine off of YouTube.
Well, no, it's funny. I do that a lot too. I mean, I was replacing the back brakes on one of our vehicles a couple of weekends ago, and I could not. I mean, I've replaced lots of brakes, but I was stumped by this thing. Took me all day. Anyhow, so yep. Finally, I went to YouTube.
Yeah, I changed a thing on my Suburban too, like this little thing that I don't know. It's like a fuel pressure sensor or some. I would have never known what that was or where it was at. And one little YouTube click, and bam, I switched it out. $30, and my car wasn't hard starting anymore.
There you go. All righty. Well, hey, let's get to our guest. So Terry Hale is joining us again today. Hey, Terry, how you doing, man?
Good. Good morning. How are you guys?
Morning.
We're good. And for those people that don't know Terry, Terry is the artistic director. Is that the title?
Yes.
The artistic director
right.
at the Elgin Opera House. But really, he's just the dude that's in charge. I mean, and so yeah, if there's a problem, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to talk to Terry. And so, and Terry's been out there for almost 15 years, kind of brought the Elgin Opera House back to life, along with many shows and many people. And you guys this is opening weekend for High School Musical Junior. And this is unlike any opening weekend you probably have ever had in your life.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah,
it's really strange. We're opening, but we don't know if anyone's watching.
Yeah, so catch the audience up on what's going on.
Yeah, well, because of the pandemic, we've had to do things differently for this show. We had to basically put the show together in pieces to accommodate small groups of people, and then we had our camera guys come in and record it in small pieces, and it's getting put together right now. So I haven't even seen the full show yet. So I mean, the parts I've seen, I think this is going to be great, but hopefully I guess that's typical of a show. I mean, we're not exactly sure how it's going to come together until about the night before. That'll be the same here. I guess what will be interesting is to see what the audience response is to this, because usually I can stand in the back and watch and listen. Here, it's going to be, it's just going to be out there, and hopefully I'll get some feedback from the folks as we go.
Yeah. So for those of you, I mean, this is very much shot like a movie, and so. I mean, and if for those of you that are not familiar with how a movie is shot, often it is shot out of sequence. It's not shot from beginning to end. And so actors will be acting a particular part in the middle of a movie, and they really don't have the motivation of what happened right before or right after. They just have to do their job and do the part, and the camera crew and all of that. And so this was shot also that way. It was shot out of sequence, different camera angles, and that'll be kind of different a little bit. Most of the time, I mean, you have the opportunity to change the perspective of the audience in this particular situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to bring things closer to the audience. So, if you're the person who always buys tickets late and you sit in the back, I mean, at least this time you'll get to be right up close to some of these actors. You get to see their expression and get the nuance that you may not get from a live performance.
So talk about the cast and how many were involved in this production and so on and so forth, Terry?
Yeah, the last I checked, I think we were around 70 members of the cast. It has fluctuated just a bit. I mean, between cast and crew, I mean, we're definitely well over 90 people involved in putting this together. And this is a cast that's from 4 different counties in Eastern Oregon. So several of these actors have been driving, a couple hours, 2.5 hours to get to rehearsal and to their film schedule. So it's required an enormous amount of dedication and commitment and sacrifice to get to come out and do something they love, in the middle of these crazy times. So I think, if you're interested in seeing, representation of the greater talent among our youth of Eastern Oregon, I think you'll really appreciate this work we put together.
Well, and it's
hey, and if you're
go ahead.
I was going to say, I recommend that you go to elginoperahouse.com. On the front page, I just put a link there to the cast and crew. And it's pretty extraordinary to go and look at that. I have a photo and a bio of almost everybody in the cast. I don't know if you're able to pull that up and just scroll through that real quick and show the viewers today. It's impressive to me. I mean, I'm the one who put it together. And I scroll through that. Like, this is really, really impressive to read, and see, kind of get a feel for all of the combined effort that this show has required.
Well,
Terry, I'm trying to find it. Where's it at on the Elgin Opera House site?
Okay, so if you go to the front page, there's a description of the show, and right below that description, kind of on your right, there's a link that says meet the cast and crew.
Got it. Cool. Keep talking. You're good.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun. One thing that's kind of funny is that even the cast has not seen the show all the way through.
Right.
I mean,
they haven't seen it all.
Shows, right. I've been in shows before, and you and I were in shows together. And, when you're not on stage, you go sit out often during rehearsals. You'll go sit out in the auditorium and watch the rest of the show. Or if it's a dress rehearsal, you're out there watching the show, and and the cast hasn't even seen it. I mean, they haven't even had the chance to. Yeah. I
mean, other than like if they were there early and saw a scene that was being shot before theirs or a scene after, other than that, they have no idea what this looks like. So this will be fun for the cast. This will be fun for them to get to see, what they've done.
Have they
the fruits of their labors?
Has the cast? I mean, how has that been? Has it been a little odd? Have you missed any of the cast camaraderie that happens normally in a show?
Yeah, I think we kind of got there, but it took a lot longer as some of the COVID restrictions eased up. We were able to bring larger groups into the theater than when we started. So those kids, it was incredible to me how quickly they bonded with each other, the groups that were able to associate with each other. And I think, for me, and I think for the cast members too, it was kind of a crazy thing. Usually when you do a show, the show kind of has an end, and everyone hugs each other and congratulates each other and brings flowers and does all of those things. I mean, for this show, I'd be working with a group, and we'd say that that's a wrap for the cheerleaders, and everyone would stand up and clap for them, and they're like, "This is it! Like, this is it! Congratulations, you've done everything you need to do for the show." And they would, they'd hug each other, and I mean, all of a sudden they're just done. And it would, it's a very emotional experience for those of us who are in the arts, because we know that these memories that we have, we're not going to have them again. And, instead of having that happen once, it happened multiple times for me.
Wow.
It got to be for a while, for about a week and a half, or every day, it was a wrap on a different group or a different actor. And, we had to say our goodbyes for over the course of a week.
How weird.
I got that for you there, Terry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's your cast and crew.
Scroll down through there a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I encourage everyone to go take a look at it. Take the time to go read about these actors and their different backgrounds. And some of them are super experienced and some of them are new. And, you can get a sense of the enthusiasm they have for the project, just by some of the things they've said in their bios. But you'll see all different ages and and personalities, and yeah, it's inspiring. It inspires me when I scroll through there.
Well, and the reason people might not understand, the reason that people are coming from so far away to be a part of the cast is that over a period of time, the draw, I mean, Elgin Opera House has gotten a reputation of doing great shows and giving a place for people with talent to exercise their talent. And so then that's drawn in, that's probably given you access to, I don't know, a higher caliber of talent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. And just, we love it when we get to meet new people here. Right. I mean, sometimes we'll go through phases where we work with a lot of the same people, and then we'll do a show, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of new faces, a whole bunch of new personalities, and they bring a new energy to the organization. And High School Musical has definitely been one of those kind of shows where there's been a lot of new energy. And it's been a lot of fun getting to meet new people and new parents and the people they associate with who wander in and we get to meet. So, I think in that sense, it's been something that we all needed, after a year of being cooped up and isolated, have this opportunity to get to engage and make new friends, and you get to celebrate other people's talents that we didn't even know existed before.
Yeah, well, that's very cool.
Yeah, in that sense, it was kind of a special show for us.
Well, so I tell you what. So we have one of the, let's talk about the story of the filming for a minute. You and I, you came on to the AM show. It's probably been 2 months ago now, and
yeah,
we talked a little bit about this project, and you had the production side of it lined out, and that kind of fell through after you did a weekend of shooting, and then it fell through. And so you called me and said, "Hey, Brent, is there something that EOAlive or Brent Clapp Productions can do to help us?" And so then I reached out to 2 other high school musical junior high school kids, because they were the only ones that I knew that would work for dirt cheap and had the time had the time to invest in this. And so then I provided the equipment, or rounded up the equipment, and we all, you, me, the cast, and particularly these 2 young men. One of them is our weather kid, Gabe the weather kid, and he could not be with us this morning. But the other one is Tim Koza. And so Tim has jumped in, and you probably didn't know Tim very well before this all started, did you?
No. I was working with his sister. His sister was one of the leads in the show. So when you mentioned Tim Koza, I was like, oh my gosh, that's got to be Sarah's brother. And sure enough. So how fun to get the Koza family.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm wearing this shirt in honor of Gabe today. This is my Gabe Weatherman shirt.
That does look like his Weatherman shirt.
It is. So this is tribute to Gabe today. So Gabe, sorry you can't be here, but I wore the shirt.
You have to. Hey, if you're gonna wear that shirt, you have to have a swagger look on your face, like this is my
okay.
Yeah. See, look at that, right?
I'm not as smooth as Gabe. I'm not nearly as smooth as Gabe. He's got the gift. I don't have that gift.
So you, I mean, I was afraid of this process and amused, and we're like right down to that. You're going to be at the studio today. We're going to have a late night session tomorrow night to put the show together. And I mean, it's just right down to crunch time. And I mean, it's going to be exciting, but we're right down to it. And and so Tim, I don't know, kind of talk to us for a minute about your experience. How has this gone for you to be thrown into the fire, almost literally?
Well, when I was approached to start this project, I was told it was, going to be a few weeknights and some weekends of filming, and I was like, okay, I can do that. So we started our filming process, and suddenly we had just a few more days than I had planned. There were some long nights, long weeknights, long weekends to get the filming all wrapped up. But when that was done, I was like, okay, I can take a breath and step back for a minute. And then we got to the editing process. There's been some more late nights from that one, but I've learned a lot using the software and just having, so much more to do than I've ever had at once with a single project. I've used a lot more tools than I ever have. I've learned a lot more of kind of the shortcuts and extra little things within Adobe. And Gabe and I have been coordinating a lot and working together on certain things within the project that, we decide we want to look this way or that way. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work though. And, had a few nights where there was less than enough sleep, but that's okay. We're almost there and we'll get it done and out in time. So.
Well, and I wish we had a chance to have some of the cast, and maybe at some point we will. We had talked about that, Terry, about maybe having an after show stream. Yeah, and we could certainly do that because, I mean, Tim and Gabe have put in quite a bit of time, but I would say it's nothing compared to the choreographers, nothing compared to yourself. I mean, you guys have lived, breathed, eaten this thing for the last 4 months now, and and frankly, Tim was just available when I was trying to put together guests last night for the show. And so, I want to be sure and make sure that people understand if there's actors that are watching this, is like, you guys deserve huge kudos, and hopefully we can find a way of getting you on to talk about that. Has there been any, as you guys have been filming, have there been any like, oh, that's funny, we're not going to forget that moment? Any of those experiences?
Well, if you're not going to jump in, Tim, I will. I think we had this moment. We shot. There was this Saturday. This Saturday that we were here early, and Tim and Gabe, they're so great. These guys, these are amazing young adults, and I've been so impressed with them. And they would come. They would get here sometimes before I would, and that's unusual. I'm usually the first person in the door, and they're here waiting and ready to go. And so we had this Saturday, and of course we've been here early already, getting everything set up and ready. We filmed all day long, and we had one scene left. As a matter of fact, we thought this would be the very last scene that we would shoot for the production. There's a scene where Sharpay gets a cake in her face, and we had this cake, and the actor Atticus, bless his heart, to get this one shot, all he had to do was walk across the stage with this cake. That's all. Just walk across with a couple of actors, and we would stop. We would reset things up, do the final scene where we turn it, and he goes in and he gets the cake in Sharpay's face. Well, Tim's like, roll, and they roll, and he walks across the stage, and then he decides to do this like basketball thing with I don't know what he was doing, some kind of around the thing with the thing, and that cake flips upside down, drops right on the floor. Okay, and we have one cake. You have one cake. And we all just like froze. And then there was this gasp of, oh no. I mean, we've been there. I don't know how many hours have we been there, Tim. I don't know. It's been all day. It was like 7. It was late in the evening. And so we're like trying to squish the cake back together, and I think finally we just decided to shoot that last scene on a different day because we ended up doing that.
Yeah, no,
So-
that was a 12-hour shoot day right there. And then let me just say that we do have that blooper on camera, and you will see it at some point.
Yeah, finally, I just said, please, someone tell me that we recorded it, that we got that on tape. And so at least we filmed it. But at the moment, we just all went, oh, no.
Yeah, no, when you get to the end of a day like that and you're already exhausted and then something like that, ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny now. Now it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, well,
but I have to say, Brent, about the film crew you gave me. I mean, thank you so much. Number one, these guys, what I really loved about them, what I love about working with young people, is that they don't have. They're up for challenges and they're up for things. I mean, I could wander down and say, "Hey, what do you think about? Can we get a shot? That's kind of up here or this way." They're like, "Yeah, we can do that." And next thing they know, they're unplugging everything and getting everything set up. They don't tell me, the 100 reasons why they can't do something. They immediately go to, "Yeah, let's make that happen." And that's been really fun. They've had such a great energy. And it's, and that's contagious to the cast and crew. And it made our lives a lot more enjoyable through the process.
Well, and it's probably good that I wasn't involved in the nuts and bolts of that day to day. Because I have the courage to tell you, no, that's not possible, Terry.
You're old and jaded, right?
Yeah.
But cynical
but that was part of I don't know, part of the plan on my part was like, I don't have time to babysit this on a day-to-day basis. And I really wanted Gabe and Tim to take this on. And I have a tremendous amount of confidence in you, of course, Terry, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited that the amount that they have learned, and this is a high school musical with a high school cast and a high school shooting crew. And so this is not quite the production that we would normally do if you hired Brent Clapp Productions to come out and shoot this thing. It's not quite that intense, but it's fantastic. And it is very fitting for it's just an amazing accomplishment for this time of the year. This time in our lives. And so I'm excited about it. So.
Yeah, me too.
You have some other people you want to mention, Terry?
I'm waiting for Tim. I'm waiting for Tim to. I want to hear what Tim's moment is.
My moment, okay. Well, it was probably the moment on our last film day when Gabe and I were watching the choreographer and the cast rehearse their last song, the last thing we had to do. And sitting there in the audience, we both learned the entire choreography sequence, and we were able to mimic it exactly with the cast. So that was pretty cool, just to know that by the end of it, we had it all down. But no, there was a lot of those songs where we could pick up bits and pieces, and later in the editing, we'd be talking to each other and we'd quote an obscure line from the song, and the other person would get it, and we'd both laugh. Or we'd be together editing something and randomly break out in a dance. But just by the end of that, we all had it down. And I hadn't really met most of the cast before. I met them, but I wasn't friends with them. But I'm friends with a bunch of them now, so that was exciting.
Well, I think the Gabe and Tim are exceptional teenagers. I don't know how else quite to say that, but it's just they're, if you, I tend those, that caliber of people, which I really appreciate, tend to gravitate towards what we do, towards the production end of what we do. And I really appreciate that. But it's kind of funny. There was after the shoot was done, you guys had to do a little shoot this last weekend or late last week. And so all of that camera equipment that we had been using, was involved in other thing, and the only camera that I could send to him was my most expensive camera, with him. Yeah. And before he walked out the door, I said, now, Tim, no pressure, but just keep in mind, all of that equipment that you were using to do the Elgin Opera House, you could put all of that in a pile and sell it, and it wouldn't pay for the price of this camera that I'm giving you right now. The point is that, never in a million years would I do that normally with a teenager, but I would with you guys, because you just are exceptionally responsible, and I just appreciate you a ton. I'm excited to see where you guys go from here. And I'm sure, Terry, you experience that all the time. You're with young actors, and then, 10 years from now, it's like, look at what they're doing. I mean,
it's really exciting to watch that.
Yeah.
To watch what these people become, these young kids.
Yeah.
I would have just recorded it with my phone. I stay 6 feet 5 inches away from that camera at all times, just in case I fall.
Well, if it weren't for Brent, I would have had to record it with my phone.
When Brent told me that how much that camera was, there was just a little moment where my eyes went a little wide. And okay, Brent, all right, just if you trust us with this, we'll be careful. He said, just take the camera bag with
I'd
you
rather he
times.
told me that it was like a cheap old camera. That way, then I wouldn't break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tim told me about that. I'm like, why haven't we been using this camera all along? Come on, Brent. Cheapskate.
Yeah, he gave me a hard time.
I don't have two of them. I can only afford one. Yeah, and it's kind of funny if you look at the fleet of crappy vehicles that Tanya and I drive. Again, if you threw all of those cars in a pile and sold them, they wouldn't buy the camera. So yeah.
I totally relate to that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Priorities.
So.
Yep.
Well, hey, awesome. So Terry, give the details one more time again about the show, where they can buy tickets. What are they going to experience? And tell, what's happening, how is the show being presented, and what's the nuts and bolts of that?
Yeah. Okay. So you'll want to go to elginoperahouse.com. On the front page, the information is all there, and you will go and you will select a date and time to watch the show. So the royalty companies, Disney, Music Theater National, they want this to be as much like a live experience as possible. So you pick a time, just like you were coming to the theater. You buy a ticket for that time. And then, a few minutes before the show, you get on your computer or your device, and you'll put in the unique code or follow the link that they have emailed you, and it'll pop the show up, and you will watch it live, just like you were here at the theater. And keep your eyes open for those of you who are technology challenged. Not this weekend. We open this weekend, this Saturday, at a matinee, but next week we do Thursday, Friday, and 2 performances on Saturday. We will have watch parties here at the Opera House for those who buy a ticket and want to come have someone else run the technology for them. You can come into the theater. We will space you out under the current guidelines, and you can watch the show here in the theater. And maybe there'll even be a couple of actors wandering around. So hang on a second. I got to send. That's the box office phone. So feel free to wander in. If there are capacity limitations because of the current restrictions, but we've had to wait to make sure that we could do this. But it looks like as of today, next week we're going to be able to have some watch parties here at the theater. So that'll be Thursday, Friday evening, Saturday matinee, and Saturday evening here at the theater. And I even convinced Nanette to come in and pop some popcorn. So,
ooh.
So if you're like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make this work at home, wander in, and we have ways. If we reach capacity, that the show is, it's not as long as a regular show, so we'll be able to send you away for a little bit and have you come back and watch the next screening of it.
Good.
So yeah.
All right.
Feel free to call the box office or email us with questions.
All righty. Well, thank you, Terry. And thank you, Tim. And thank you, Cast, for putting this together. And the parents of Cast, they need special kudos for hauling their kids out there back and forth all that time. So, yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot. I know that's been that case for Gabe. It's like, yeah, this is why you need your driver's license. Get it so that you can haul yourself around.
Yes.
Yeah. All
well,
righty.
thank you,
well,
Brent.
Hey,
Just real quick, thank you, Brent, to you and EOAlive. I mean, you guys really, you came through for us on this. I told you last time we met, I said I'll probably be calling. I was kind of joking at the time, but you really did. You guys came through for us, and you made this possible. Go look at those faces on that cast list. You made it possible for all of those youth to be able to have this experience, because I don't know how we would have done it without you. So thank you to you and your crew over there.
Well, thank you, man. And thank you, Tim. And we'll see both of you in a couple of hours, I guess. All right.
We shall.
Thank you, Terry.
All right.
Tim,
good to see you, Nazi.
good to see you, too. Oh, let's go.
Yeah. So give us the quotes of the day.
Get us out of here.
Yeah.
On this day in 1879, the first mobile home, which was horse-drawn, was used in a journey from London to Cyprus. On this day in 1902, Pierre and Marie Curie discovered the radioactive element radium. And in the next year, the French couple received the Nobel Prize in Physics for discovering that. 1961, FM stereo broadcasting was approved by the FCC. 1982, the Activision game Pitfall. And if you're my age or BC's age, you know what this is. It came out on the Atari 2600. And Pitfall was like my go-to game when I was little. Like, yeah. 92, the world's largest fair, Expo 92, opened in Seville, Spain. The number one song in 1991 was You're in Love by Wilson Phillips. So 30 years ago today, You're in Love by Wilson Phillips was the number one song. And then this quote is one of me and Johnny's favorite, so I had to bust it out. It's not like super positive, but if you relate it to life instead of relating it to the actual physical activity, then you'll get where, kind of why it's important. And it's by Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweights in history. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's the quote. And if you apply that to life, we all have a plan until we get punched in the face, and it's how we rebound from that punch and what we do afterwards that matters.
Absolutely. That's a good quote.
Yeah, everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face.
Yep.
I love it. And that's from Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson, later, today's Mike Tyson, he's completely different than he was when he was a fighter. And he's a social influencer. He's got multi-businesses. He's got a weird face tattoo. Everybody knows that already. But I mean, he's one of a kind. He's interesting. He's got a great podcast. I watch it quite regularly. And yeah, everybody's has a plan till they get punched in the face.
It's kind of funny because how he is right now is how he probably was then. It's just that he had a persona to put on and do, and
Well, yeah, and he was a poor, from the projects.
Yeah, had a grudge.
Got money fast, and a lot of it, and that makes people do weird stuff.
Yep.
But now he's going to South America and licking toads and doing podcasts, and he's actually quite entertaining. He's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. All righty, man. Well, hey, so one more time, I guess let's take a look at the weather. And so
it's beautiful days, man.
This is
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. This is today.
Yep.
Going to be pretty nice.
Really nice. A little bit of wind. I'm sure that, Buffalo Peak has got to be gorgeous right now. Dana texted me on Sunday afternoon. He's like, why aren't you out here golfing? And I said, well, because I was at games all day yesterday, and then I was at a lacrosse game, EOU lacrosse this morning, and I'm taking the afternoon off to just relax, get some R&R for old Dodsy.
Yeah, it sounded like, I mean, I saw a thing where you said, yeah, it's packed today. So there were a good group of people out there.
Yeah,
I'm sure he
yeah, that was
excited.
Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe even yesterday. But yeah,
Yeah.
Buffalo Peak's been just killing it. I'm super proud of Dana. He's a good friend of mine, and he's doing amazing things out there. They're having the 4th of July fireworks out there, which we talked about here on the morning show, and it's going to be phenomenal. And then they're having that Oregon Junior Championship out there. And the only question I got, where are they going to put all those people? We don't have hotels for that many people. They're going to have to stay over at like Wild Horse. And I'm sure there's logistics and they'll get it figured out, but that's one of the reasons why we don't ever have any real big events in this area, is because of the lack of hotels. And and
it's kind of, you're absolutely right. And but people that live here don't get that. I mean, if you're just a citizen of a community, you don't ever use the hotels, and so then the lack of them is not a big deal to you. But
if you are a citizen in this community, I know there's at least 2 hotels in this town where if you have a LeGrand address on your driver's license, they will not rent you a room.
Really?
Yeah, because they've had so many people party, like rent it and then just party and trash the rooms. My parents came here and they were going to stay at a certain hotel here in town. I get a phone call, hey, come down here. We need you to use your driver's license, because my license still had a Dallas address. And my parents lived in this community for 30 years. You know what I mean? And they were like, no, we can't rent you the hotel room because they still had LeGrand on their driver's licenses. It's weird. Yeah.
That is strange.
Yeah.
So, well, and that's why, private hotels that are being owned locally, the Landing and Hot Lake, the resort at Hot Lake. I don't think I still got Hot Lake Lodge. Is that
the
it?
Lodge at Hot Lake?
The Lodge at Hot Lake. Yeah. With Mike, the interview that we did with him. And if you haven't watched that interview that we did with Mike last week, really interesting.
It was cool.
Anyhow, the point is that local hotel rooms are a big deal. The lack of hotel rooms is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so
we're bringing in 150 kids for that golf tournament. So that means 150 kids plus an adult, because they aren't going to get themselves here. They're kids. Right. So at least one adult. So you're talking, I would imagine 400 plus people. I mean, honestly, and that's a lot of hotel rooms.
Yep.
So
yep.
I don't know what.
Well, and I've heard of in the past. I mean, I don't know how it is right now, but in the past, the hotels were controlled by just 1 or 2 individuals, and the price rise. And so then I heard of people that because of the price alone were staying in Boise or staying in Baker City or in Pendleton, and because of the price, and then driving over the hill the day for the event. So weird situation. All right. Well, anyhow.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Eastern Oregon.
Yep. Talk soon.